Now, pap smear, which is a very common smear, or which is a very common staining technique which we have performed on the regular basis in the cytopathology lab. So what is pap smear? Let's discuss. So pap smear is a common technique in cytopathology. First thing, it is also known as Papanicolaou stain, which is on the name of the scientist Sir George Papanicolaou, who discovered this category cytopathology under the pathology subject. And this pap staining is done for the cervical cancers in the women. If from in that condition, we have to take a sample from the cervix region of the woman. So for that, basically we have to perform the pap test. So let's read what is pap smear in detail. A pap smear, also called the pap test, is an exam a doctor used to test for cervical cancers in women. Okay, it is a test which is performed for the cervical cancer in the women. Now it can also reveal changes in the cervical cells that may turn into the cancer later. Initially, cancer does not occur. First cells show some abnormality. So if we detect with the help of the pap smear that cells are start showing some abnormality, so we can stop there also with the help of the medication. So pap test is also used to check if there is any abnormality which are showing by the cells in the cervical region, so that we can stop it before it can convert it into the cancer. Okay, so it can also reveal the changes. Or a pap smear is done to look for changes in the cervical cells before they turn into the cancer. Women at the ages of 21 to 65 years of age should have a pap smear on the regular basis. Okay, so how often you have to go for the pap smear? If women are under the age of 21 to 65, they have to go for a pap smear. How often you have to go for a pap smear? Again, it depends on your health. Okay, if you have previously going for a pap smear, so it depends on your pap smear report. If it is normal, it is fine. If it is not normal, so you have to go again for a pap smear in a period of few months. So it depends overall health and whether or not you had an abnormal pap smear in the past. If you have any abnormal pap smear in the past, so you have to again go for the next pap smear within few months, or according your doctor will suggest you. So how often a woman should have a pap smear? See, pap smear is very important for every woman. We have to go for a pap smear on a regular basis. So every woman should have the test every 3 years. Okay, every 3 years from the ages 21 to 65. So every woman under the age group of 21 to 65, they have to regularly done their pap smears at the time period of every 3 years. Okay, women can also choose to combine their pap smear with HPV. What is HPV? Human papilloma virus, because this is the disease which can always combine with the cervical cancer. So women, especially at the age of 30, they can also combine their pap test along with the HPV test. Also, they can also go for the HPV test, as HPV is the most common sexually transmitted infection and is linked to the cervical cancer. If a woman has already a cervical cancer, so there is a chances that woman can develop a human papilloma virus also, and it is a most common sexually transmitted disease also. So women at the age of 30, they can also combine their pap smear along with the human papilloma virus test also. Now, how we prepare for the pap smear? So women have to prepare for the pap smear. Your doctor or your pathologist will always give you instructions before a pap smear. What are the common instructions? That a woman do not have to indulge in any sexual activity before 24 or 48 hours before the test. They do not insert anything into the vagina, and during your menstrual cycle, pap smear cannot be performed, because heavy bleeding can interfere with your pap smear results, and there are many more conditions in which pap smear cannot be performed. So we have to take care of that also. So how to prepare a woman for that? Let's discuss. One shouldn't have a pap smear during the periods. As I've told you, during menstrual cycle, pap smear cannot be performed. This is the first thing. What is the second thing? because heavy bleeding can affect accuracy of the test. Okay, as I've told you, heavy bleeding can affect the accuracy of the test. Now, for the accurate pap smear, doctors recommend to taking the following steps. These are the following steps that your doctor will advise you that do not do these things before pap smear. What is first is, do not indulge in any sexual activity, do not use any spray or powder near the vagina. Okay, what will be the third step? Do not insert anything into the vagina before your pap smear, including tampons or any kind of medication or any kind of creams. Then what is the next step? Do not rinse vagina with water or with any other kind of fluid. So you have to follow all these steps. A woman has to follow all these steps before their pap test. Now, what is the procedure? What is the procedure of the pap test? So this test can be held in the doctor's clinic or in the hospital, and it is not a very lengthy procedure. It takes only 10 to 20 minutes, and it is not a painful procedure. You can only feel a kind of tingling only. So let's discuss what kind of procedure it is. It is done in the doctor's clinic, as I've told you. It takes only 10 to 20 minutes. It is not a very lengthy procedure, because what is the pap smear procedure? Basically, doctor has to take a smear from your cervix. Okay, so it is only takes 10 to 20 minutes. Patient will lie on the table with your feet placed firmly on the stirrups. Okay, patient will spread your legs, and doctors will insert a metal or plastic tool, which is also known as speculum. Okay, there is a spatula kind of thing like this. There is a spatula kind of thing like this. So doctor will insert it into the vagina to collect the smear. Now they will open it so that it widens the vagina walls, and this allows them to see the cervix. So basically, doctor will give instructions to the patient or to that woman that they have to lie on the table, they have to straddle their legs so that the doctor will see the vagina area clearly, and they have to see the cervix area, and then they can insert the spatula and take the smear like this. Okay. Doctor will use the swab to take the sample of cells from the cervix. Basically, he has to take the cells from the cervix region, so he will use the swab for that. They will place them into a liquid substance in small jar and send them to the lab for review. First, they have done with the smear procedure, then they will put this swab into a jar in which some liquid over there, so that the swab will not be dry out, and then it will send it to the pathology lab. The pap test does not hurt, as I've told you, but you may feel a little pinch or a bit of pressure when they perform the swabbing thing. Okay. So this is the kind of procedure or some kind of guidelines which viewers have to follow or take care of, and this is how a swab will be collected. Now, how we done the pap staining? So it is a polychromatic stain. What kind of stain it is? It is a polychromatic stain that uses multiple dyes to differently stain different types of cells. Okay. It is the most common screening method for cervical cancer. For the cervical cancer, it is the very common type of technique, very common type of screening method. Now there is several specimens can be used. Other than the vaginal smear, there are also other kind of specimens which we can use for the pap smear, such as sputum, urine, cerebrospinal fluid, which is present in our brain, abdominal fluid, tumor biopsies, synovial fluid, and FNAC aspirates, which we take with the help of the FNAC needles, and pleural fluid. So why we use these samples? Because other than the cervical cancer, we can also screen further types of infections also with the help of the pap smear. So other than the vaginal smear, we also have these other type of samples on which we can perform our pap smear, and we can use it for the screening of a certain type of infections also, or any kind of deformity the cells are showing. So we can diagnose with the help of the pap smear. Now what is the principle? So it contains different kind of dyes which are going to stain different cells accordingly, and there is a ion charges. It is the principle of pap smear is based on the ion charges. Let's discuss. The stain use both basic and acidic dyes. Okay, obviously basic dye will stain the acidic components and acid dye will stain the basic components. Now it is also based on the ionic charges of the components of the cells. Cells have different components and they have different ionic charges. So based on that, the principle of attraction and repulsion of the ions and the dyes. Okay, so there is a principle which is based on the attraction and repulsion. Yeah, attraction and repulsion of the ions and the dyes. And there are 5 types of dyes are used in the 3 solutions. So we have 3 main solutions, and under these we have 5 types of dyes. Okay, which give different color to the different cellular components. So basically we have different types of dyes in the pap smear which give different colors to the different components of the cells. And what is the another principle? Another principle is the attraction and repulsion of the ions which is present in the cell components, and our dyes which we are using to stain our smear. Okay, so accordingly we have 3 main dyes under 3 main solutions under which we have different kind of dyes, 5 types of dyes which give different colors to the different components. So first we have hematoxylin. Hematoxylin is a natural dye and it stains the cell nuclei in the blue color. What is the function of the hematoxylin? It stains the nuclei into the blue color. Now the dye attaches to the sulfate group of DNA because it has the high affinity for the nuclear chromatins. Okay, why it attaches to the DNA? Because it has the high affinity for the nuclear chromatins. So the most common hematoxylin dye used is Harris hematoxylin, Gills H, like this, Gills H, and the commonest cytologically, although Gills hematoxylin and hematoxylin S. Okay, these are the common types of hematoxylin dyes: Harris hematoxylin, Gills H, and Gills hematoxylin and hematoxylin H. Now we have second category, orange green 6. Orange green 6, now it is a counter stain in our pap smear. It is a counter stain or a acidic counter stain. What it does? It stains the cytoplasm. It stains the cytoplasm of the mature keratinized cells and the components of the target. Target means the target cell which we have to stain. So it stains the target in orange color, in varying intensities of the dyes, dark orange, light orange, in the varying intensities of the dyes. So it stains our target cell in the varying intensity of the dyes in orange color. Okay, now this is the third category, eosin azure. As I've told you, we have 3 main categories. So the third category is eosin azure. So it is the second counter stain. It is also a counter stain. It is our second counter stain and it has a combination of dyes. Let's discuss what type of dyes. First is eosin Y, then we have light green SF, then we have Bismarck brown. Okay, so these all 3 dyes give different colors. Let's discuss. What does eosin Y stain do? So eosin Y stains the cytoplasm. Eosin Y stains the cytoplasm of mature squamous cells, nucleoli, RBCs and cilia. Okay, eosin Y stains the cytoplasm, nucleoli, RBCs and cilia in the pink color. Then we have another dye. We have light green SF. It stains the cytoplasm in blue color. Okay, it stains the cytoplasm in blue color. Now we have another Bismarck brown. How it stains? either it stays a very light brown color or it does not stains the cells. So nowadays we omit this stain. We omit this stain nowadays. Okay, that's why I've not included in the slide now, because Bismarck brown either gives a light brown color or it does not stain the cells. So nowadays we can omit this dye. Now what are the reagents we have? So we have these reagents which you have to know, like in Harris hematoxylin we have hematoxylin, we have ethanol, potassium alum, we have 500 ml distilled water, we have mercuric acid, glacial acetic acid in the different compositions which you have to know. Then we have orange G dye. Orange G, so in orange G we have obviously a orange G 100% aqueous 25 ml, then we have 475 ml alcohol, and then we have phosphotungstic acid 0.8 grams. Then we have the next category, EA50. So here we have M light green SF 5 ml 0.05 molar light green SF 5 ml. Then we have eosin Y, then we have phosphotungstic acid, alcohol, methanol and glacial acetic acid 10 ml. Okay, so these are the reagents. Now what is the procedure? Now what is the procedure of pap smear? We collect the pap smear from the women's vagina, we take the smear, we take the swab and send it to the pathology lab. Now we have to perform the staining also. So we have already read what are the stainings and what are the components under the stainings, what are the reagents. Now what is the procedure of staining? So first we have to fix, as you already read in the hematological histopathological section also, we have to fix our smear with 95% ethanol for 15 minutes. Then we have to rinse it with the tap water, right? Whenever we fix our slice, whatever with the procedure we perform, if we put our slide into any kind of stain or into the alcohol or into the xylene, so after every step we have to wash our slide to remove the excess material. So first we have to fix our smear in ethanol for 15 minutes, then we have to rinse in the tap water, then we are start adding our stains. So add the Harris hematoxylin dye for 1 to 3 minutes. Okay, obviously again you have to rinse your slide in the tap water, then you have to dip your preparation in 95% ethanol and 10 dips. You have to dip your slice 10 times into the 95% ethanol. Then you have to add orange G6 stain for 15 minutes. And then you have to, after you have put your slide into the orange G6 stain, after that you have to put your slide in 95% ethanol, again 10 dips. You have to mention how many dips. So you have to put your slice in 95% ethanol, 10 dips. Then after that you have to add eosin dye, which is your next dye or the counter stain, eosin dye or EA50 or modified EA50 or EA65 stains for 2 to 2.5 minutes. Then you have to then you again have to dip your slide in 95% ethanol for 10 dips, and you have to change it 2 times, 2 changes. It's like we sometimes you have observed in the cytopathology or histopathology lab, suppose we have 95% ethanol, so we have two containers of the same thing, like we have 95% ethanol in this container and in that container also. It will be like this. This is 95% ethanol 1 and this is 95% ethanol 2. So you have to first put slides here and then you have to put slide here, 2 changes. Okay, 10 dips, 2 changes. Now after that you have to add 100% ethanol for 1 minute only. After that you have to, now till here you have completed with your staining, so now you have to clear your slides to remove any excess material. So you have to clear in 2 changes of xylene, 2 minutes each, like this only, first change and second change. So you have to clear in 2 changes of xylene, 2 minutes each, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here. Then you have to mount with the permanent mounting medium and your slide is ready to examine under the microscope. Now, How results will be seen under the pap smear? So staining dyes will stain different components with different color. So nuclei will stain blue color. Acidophilic cells will stain red color. All the basophilic cells will take the blue-green color. If their erythrocytes are present, so erythrocytes will take the orange-red to dark pink color, and keratin cells will take the orange-red color. So like this, you will observe your pap slide under the microscope. If there is a superficial cells, they will take pink color. If immediate and parabasal cells will take blue-green color. Eosinophils will again take the orange-red color. Metaplastic cells may contain both blue-green and pink color. Okay, they can contain both, either blue-green or pink color. Candida, if there is fungus is also present over there, so Candida will take the red color and Trichomonas will take the green color, because microorganisms can also be present. As we have already discussed, pap stain is not performed only for the cervical cancer, but it can also perform to diagnose different kinds of infections also, or any other kind of deformity. So we can also check Candida or Trichomonas infections also with the help of the pap smear, and if Candida is present, so it will observe, so you will observe red color, and if Trichomonas are present, so it will show in green color. So like this, different materials you will observe in different colors under the microscope, like this. So this is the normal pap smear, see, and this is the abnormal. Why it is abnormal? See, these are the abnormalities. These are the abnormalities. These are the cells which take up the different colors. So like this, you will observe your pap smear. This is the normal pap smear, and this is the abnormal pap smear. Now, applications of the Papa-Nicolau staining, where you can use this pap stain. So as I've told you, we have different kind of applications of pap smears. It is not used only for the cervical cancer. Yes, it is the very common technique which is used to diagnose the cervical cancer, but it is not the only thing which is used only for the cervical cancer. We can use pap smears in different applications, like this, used in pap smear. Papa-Nicolau staining used in pap smears, obviously. Screening for the cervical cancer, as it is the most common. Then also for the examination of myeloma cancer in the liver, also for the thyroid cancer, for the cell carcinoma, and also for the examination and characterization of different kinds of tumors like benign tumors, and for the identification of Candida species. This is the fungus. So as I've told you, for examination of infections also we use Papa-Nicolau stain, and for the identification of Chlamydia trachomatis also. So these two are the microorganisms. So infections caused due to the different kinds of microorganisms can also be identified with the help of the pap smear. So these are some applications where you can use your pap smear. Okay, so what we have discussed today, we have discussed what is cytopathology. So it is basically a study of cells or the disease which is present inside the cell. That is why it is known as cytopathology. We have discussed the type of sample collection, such as intervention or exfoliative. Exfoliative is kind of which we have to manually take the sample with the help of the brush or with the help of the scraping, and other type is intervention, in which we have to insert the needle into the skin of the patient, feel the palpation and take out the abnormal fluid, and then we'll proceed with the further examination. Then we have the pap smear, which is very common technique in the cytopathology, which is again commonly used for the cervical cancer, but again it has other applications also. So this is your unit cytopathology. Thank you and have a great day.